everyone, I'm Eliza, the founder of Fire and Flower Girls Rites of Passage. We're a 4-month program launching this May to transition girls into the awesome new stage of young womanhood. And today I'm here to tell you about our 3 pillars, which are mentorship, ceremony, and nature connection. Maybe you know a girl who's going through her coming of age around 12 to 14 and might want to join us. You might want to be a mentor, or maybe you'll donate to help us support low-income families. Now, our first pillar, mentorship, is so important. Coming of age is that time in life where we start shifting our focus from the home and family to noticing that there's this big, wide world out there. And you start wondering, where do I belong in this world? Who am I in this big world? And so what we naturally do is we start pushing boundaries and experimenting to learn where I fit in. And at this time, in pre-modern cultures, back in the day, this is when mentors and elders would come in and they would observe and see what seems to be percolating, what seems to be wanting to come forward, and provide the challenge for you for those gifts of yours to come forward so that it's so clear to yourself, and then you'll know how to go back to your community and serve using those gifts and talents. Nowadays, our young people usually only have each other and the media to sort of guide them through this time of coming of age. And with each other, what ends up happening often is experimentation around alcohol, maybe drugs or sexual interactions. And with the media, there's such heavy messaging for our young women about sex appeal and body image that can be quite detrimental. So with Fire and Flower, we bring back the mentors. The girls choose who they're drawn to be their mentors, and then they have a one-on-one relationship for 6 months. As an entire group, with all the mentors and the girls, we meet regularly as well to explore womanhood and what that's about. And then there is, again, that individual time for her to review things, ask more questions that she might have been intimidated to ask in the big group. So it's a really special bond. For me, for my own woman's initiation, my walk-back ceremony, afterwards I had 3 elder women, a powerhouse of mentorship, for about a year afterwards. And they just witnessed me nurture and grow all the seeds that were planted and exposed to me in that ceremony. So they held me accountable for who I was becoming and what was now clear to me. And they were there for me when I was struggling over like, oh, what should I do now? And that kind of thing. Really, really amazing. Our second pillar is ceremony. And humans have been doing ceremony since the very beginning of our existence. There is something that's just so powerful about a group of people gathering with the single intention to witness and honor a big life transition. An example of this that we're familiar with in our culture is weddings. So I invite you to think back to a wedding you've been to that hopefully you enjoyed, and think back to the actual ceremony. That there's often this incredible, tangible and palpable energy in that ceremony because everyone is witnessing and pouring forth their good wishes for this couple, really pouring forth their love for these people and wishing them well on their journey. So now imagine that same kind of energy given to these girls moving into young womanhood. Essentially, we're giving them a solid platform from which to step off to be and become who they are. We're saying, we think you're amazing as this new being in the world, and we do wish you the best, and we're here to support you whenever you need it. It is invaluable. The third pillar is nature connection. And people are simply the most free to be themselves in nature. Nothing in nature tells you how to be, how to look. There aren't expectations like that. And nature is also the most abundant place for imagination and diversity and creativity. So it's a potent place to calm ourselves, ground ourselves, and let our highest potential come forth. For young women, what I've noticed is that nature is a really great place for them to feel empowerment in their own bodies. And I'm thinking back to this incredible young woman who I helped go through her rite of passage when she was 13. And we had spent about a week in the wilderness, and one day she suddenly took off her boots and her socks and just started going wild. She was running around bare feet, just giggling and so joyful, and like it was amazing. And later that day in our heart circle, she explained to us what happened, that she had been taunted about her bare feet so much when she was little that she had not shown anyone her feet for the last 6 or 7 years of her life. She always had shoes and socks on. And in her time in nature, she found within herself a comfort in being her and a pride in being her that allowed her to make the final decision and action to reveal her bare feet, to like for the first time in 7 years to make direct contact with the air. And by the end of the program, we couldn't get her to put her shoes and socks back on. And to me, that's a sign that she no longer was willing to let herself be covered and repressed in the ways she was before. She'd found a freedom and deep empowerment in herself to move forward in life in a different way. Nature also provides a natural challenge for our young people. And so with Fire and Flower, we combine this need for challenge with ceremony and nature connection. And when we go away to Vancouver Island for 4 days, we'll be in an old growth forest where the girls will spend 8 hours alone. And this is an ancient pancultural practice. And what happens when you spend a lot of time alone in nature is that there's this beautiful distillation process that more and more of just you comes forward and is clear, so evident to you. And so when you return, you're at a pure state. And I've witnessed this numerous times of people coming back from their solo time in nature. And it is the most beautiful I've ever seen human beings, because their most potent human potential is just pouring out of them. And they return with stories and they speak like the wisest elders you have ever met. It is really incredible. So altogether, with mentorship, ceremony, and nature connection, what we're doing is we're building resilience for these young women, giving them skills and knowledge and experiences where they will have to really move forward in life in a way that feels supported and in a way that they know themselves deeply and who they are and what they represent and stand for. So hopefully some of this has been meaningful for you. We really welcome you joining our community. Our registration deadline is quite soon, towards the end of April, so please join us if you feel moved. Thanks so much.